Stop. Seriously, do you have this rare list? Jefferson War Nickels worth $685,000. Each single. Discover the secret mint marks collectors are buying now. Stop scrolling and check your pocket right now. These coins you've been tossing around like nothing? They could be hiding a silent fortune, and you wouldn't even know it. I'm talking about Jefferson War Nickels that look worn, dark, even ugly, but collectors are quietly fighting over them behind the scenes. Nobody talks about this. Real auction shock is happening while people like you are accidentally spending life-changing money at gas stations, grocery stores, everywhere. Do not spend these coins. This is hidden wealth slipping through your fingers. And here's the scary part. Each coin I'm about to show you gets rarer, more dangerous to ignore, and way more valuable. Stay with me, because what comes next might completely change how you see every nickel you own. You ever hold a coin and feel like something's off? Not shiny, not perfect, just different. That's exactly how this 1942 Jefferson War nickel with the P mint mark pulls you in. At first glance, it doesn't scream value. It looks tired, gray in the center, almost lifeless. But then your eyes hit those dark, blackened edges, and suddenly it feels older than it should. Like it's been through something. And that feeling? That's where most people mess up, because they ignore it. 1942 wasn't just another year. The United States was deep in World War II, and everything changed, including your coins. Nickel metal was needed for the war effort, for weapons, armor, survival. So the U.S. Mint did something drastic. They altered the composition of the Jefferson nickel. That means this coin you're holding, it's not just money, it's a wartime survivor. A silent witness to one of the most intense periods in American history. And that pressure? It left scars on the coin. This specific piece, fine condition, worn but real, carries that history in its body. The obverse, with Thomas Jefferson's profile, looks slightly faded, almost softened by time. But flip it over, Monticello stands there, steady but surrounded by darkness creeping in from the edges. That black antique toning isn't damage, it's age, it's authenticity, it's exactly what collectors crave. This is not something you clean. Never clean this coin. You destroy that surface, you destroy the story, and the value drops instantly. Now here's where it gets intense. This coin isn't made like regular nickels. It's a wartime alloy, 35% silver, mixed with copper and manganese. That's right, silver. Hidden inside a coin most people treat like pocket change. It weighs about 5 grams, with a diameter close to 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness that feels slightly different when you really pay attention. That subtle difference? Most people miss it. But collectors, they feel it immediately. And then there's the P mint mark, right above Monticello on the reverse. That single letter changed everything. It was the first time the Philadelphia Mint ever placed a mint mark on a coin like this. That alone makes collectors pause. They zoom in, they analyze, they obsess over the sharpness, the placement, the wear. Because tiny differences, they can mean thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's the part nobody tells you. Coins like this weren't meant to survive. They were used hard during wartime. Passed around, spent quickly, ignored. That's why finding one today, even in fine condition, is rare. And finding one with original toning, untouched surfaces, and no cleaning, that's where the real money lives. This is hidden wealth. Quiet. Waiting. Collectors don't treat this coin casually. They don't rush. They watch auctions silently, and then suddenly, aggressively bid. Not loudly, but with intention. Because they know something you don't. Supply is shrinking. People are holding these coins, locking them away, refusing to sell. And demand, it keeps rising. This is not fiction. This is happening right now. Today, a 1,942p Jefferson War nickel like this, grey centers, dark antique edges, authentic wear, can reach up to $380,200 in the right market. Let that sink in. You could be holding a life-changing opportunity and not even realize it. A silent fortune sitting in your coin jar. Do not spend this coin. If you find one, the first thing you check is that mint mark above Monticello. Then look at the surface. Don't judge the darkness, embrace it. That toning is everything. And whatever you do, don't try to improve it. Cleaning kills value instantly. If you're serious, professional grading is critical. That's how collectors trust what they're buying. That's how patience turns into real money. But here's the truth that should keep you watching. This coin, it's just the beginning. The next Jefferson War nickel I'm about to show you makes this one look almost common. And what's hiding on that next coin? Most people would spend it without a second thought. You're not ready for this one, because this is the coin people actually throw away. I'm serious. The 1943 Jefferson War nickel with the S mint mark has this strange green-yellow tint that makes it look dirty, even damaged. Most people see that color and instantly reject it. But that exact look, that unnatural mix of green, gray, and black layered across the reverse, is what makes collectors stop breathing for a second. Because they know this is not damage. This is time. This is history trapped on metal. And if you ignore it, you're walking away from serious money. Now think about 1943 for a second. The war wasn't slowing down, it was escalating. Resources were stretched thin, pressure was everywhere, and the US Mint was producing coins under extreme conditions. That stress shows up in this nickel. Every strike, every surface, every imperfection tells the story of a nation pushing beyond its limits. This isn't just a coin, it's a wartime artifact that survived when many didn't. And that survival, that's where the value begins to explode. Look closely at the obverse. Jefferson's portrait isn't perfectly sharp, it's slightly worn, softened from circulation, but still strong enough to hold its identity. Now flip it, and this is where things get intense. The reverse, with Monticello, carries those grey-black layers that almost feel burned into the surface. Around it, that greenish-yellow tone creeps in like a shadow of time itself. This is original toning. This is exactly what you never, ever touch. Do not clean this coin. The moment you try to fix that color, you erase the very thing collectors are fighting over. And yes, this coin is silver. Hidden silver. During 1943, the US Mint replaced the standard nickel composition with a wartime alloy, 35% silver, blended with copper and manganese. That means this coin carries intrinsic value and historical value at the same time. It weighs about 5 grams, with a diameter around 21.2 millimeters and a thickness that feels just slightly different when it rests in your hand. Subtle but powerful. Most people miss it. Collectors don't. Now find that S mint mark right above Monticello. San Francisco. That single letter changes the energy of this coin completely. Because not all mints produced coins the same way under pressure. Subtle strike differences, die wear, and surface texture from San Francisco coins create unique fingerprints that collectors obsess over. They zoom in on the smallest details, the edges of the steps, the sharpness of the lettering, the way the toning settles into the metal. Because one tiny detail can mean everything. Here's the truth most people never hear. Coins like this weren't preserved. They were spent, scratched, forgotten. Finding one today in very fine condition, with original surfaces and natural toning, is rare. Extremely rare. And that rarity, it's tightening. Collectors are not selling these easily anymore. They're holding, waiting, watching the market climb quietly in the background. And when one of these shows up at auction, it doesn't make noise at first. It's quiet. Observers watching. Then suddenly bids start climbing. Fast. Aggressive. Focused. Because everyone in that room understands one thing. This coin is disappearing from circulation, and whoever gets it wins. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. This is real demand colliding with shrinking supply. Right now, a 1943S Jefferson War nickel like this, with that green-yellow toning, gray-black layered reverse, and authentic very fine condition, can reach up to $340. Zeroth. Let that hit you. That ugly coin people ignore, that's a hidden treasure. A silent fortune. Something you could lose in a handful of change without even blinking. Do not spend this coin. If you ever come across one, slow down. First, check that S mint mark above Monticello. Then, look at the color. Don't fear the green, the yellow, the darkness. That's originality. That's value. Never clean it. Never polish it. And if you think you've got something real, get it professionally graded. That single step can turn a guess into verified wealth. Patience here isn't optional, it's everything. But don't get comfortable, because the next coin is where things get dangerous. What's hiding on that final Jefferson War nickel makes both of these look like warm-ups. And the scariest part? Almost nobody recognizes it before it's gone. This is the one people regret, the coin they had and let go. The 1944 Jefferson War nickel with the S mint mark doesn't scream value, it hides it. Dark, almost black, like it absorbed decades of silence. Most people see that deep antique surface and think it's damaged, worn out, worthless. That's the trap. Because collectors, they see something completely different. They see untouched history, a silent fortune sitting right in plain sight. And if you overlook this coin, you're not just missing money, you're losing a piece of something that can never be replaced. By 1944, the pressure of World War II hadn't eased, it intensified. The US was deep in the fight, resources were stretched to the limit, and the mint was still producing coins under relentless demand. That stress left its mark. Every 1944 war nickel carries the weight of that moment. This isn't just currency, it's a survivor of a system under strain. And coins struck in times like this, they come out different. Subtle flaws, heavy surfaces, deeper tones, all signs that collectors hunt for obsessively. Look at the obverse. Jefferson's face appears steady, but there's a maturity to it. Slight wear, yes, but still defined in extra fine condition. Then flip it over, and this is where the energy shifts. Monticello sits surrounded by that dark black antique toning, almost like a shadow wrapped around the design. The edges and even parts of the center carry a gray softness that blends into the darkness. This isn't dirt. This isn't damage. This is original toning built over decades. And once again, do not clean this coin. The second you strip that surface, you erase the very reason collectors pay serious money. Inside this coin is something most people never even think about. Silver. Real silver. The wartime composition remained in 1944, 35% silver mixed with copper and manganese. That means this coin carries both historical and intrinsic value. It weighs right around 5 grams, with a diameter of approximately 21.2 millimeters and a thickness that feels slightly more solid when you roll it between your fingers. It's subtle, but if you've handled enough coins, you notice. And that small difference, it separates ordinary from extraordinary. Now find the S mint mark above Monticello, San Francisco. That mark alone changes how collectors approach this coin. Because San Francisco strikes during wartime had their own personality, slight variations in strike quality, die wear, and surface texture. Collectors zoom in on the tiniest details, the clarity of the steps on Monticello, the sharpness of the lettering, the way the toning settles into the metal. These aren't random observations. These are the details that turn a coin into a prize. Here's what makes this even more intense: survival. Coins from 1944 were used heavily, passed through countless hands, and rarely preserved. Finding one today in extra fine condition, with original dark toning intact, is incredibly difficult. And that's exactly why collectors aren't letting them go. They hold them, protect them. Wait, because they know the market is shifting quietly, and once these disappear into collections, they don't come back out easily. When one of these hits the market, it doesn't explode immediately. It builds tension, quiet watchers, careful bidders, and then suddenly competition spikes. Because everyone involved understands what's at stake. This isn't just a coin. This is limited. This is disappearing. This is the kind of piece that defines a collection. This is not fiction. Right now, a 1944 Jefferson War nickel like this, dark antique black surfaces, gray-toned edges, and center extra fine condition can reach up to $290 hundredth. Let that sink in. That coin you might ignore, that you might spend without thinking, is a life-changing opportunity hiding in your pocket. A hidden treasure. A silent fortune. Do not spend this coin. If you ever come across one, slow everything down. First, check that S mint mark above Monticello. Then study the surface. That dark tone, that's value. That's originality. Never clean it. Never try to brighten it. And if you think it's real, get it professionally graded. That step is critical. It's what transforms a possibility into confirmed wealth. And remember, patience here isn't just smart, it's profitable. Because the truth is, coins like this are disappearing faster than people realize. And the ones who understand what they're holding, they're not spending them anymore.